If I told you that right now Giannis Antetokounmpo is a better shooter than Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, or whoever, you might think I'm crazy, but stay tuned to this video because I'm going to show you exactly why that might just be true. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks have managed to get their season back on track. They're up to 5th in the East, they're over 500, and there's a few different factors for this. This video is obviously going to be about Giannis's shooting, which you might not have been paying attention to, but there are a few other factors. Let's talk about them quickly. The first one is that over their first 10 games, they were 23rd in the NBA in wide open three-pointers. In the last 9 games that they played, they're 3rd in the NBA in knocking down those wide open shots. And knocking down your open shots is the key to success in the modern NBA. And if you don't knock down your shots, then it's easy for the other team to get out there in transition and score easy baskets. Now, a big factor in this three-point resurgence has been Taurean Prince and AJ Green, who are currently 5th and 7th in the NBA in three-point shooting. But we're not talking about them today. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo because he has found a way to dominate the game even without being a prolific three-point shooter, and it doesn't involve just running and dunking like James Harden alleged he does.
You know, but I wish I could just run and with 7 feet and run and just dunk. Like, that takes no skill at all.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say that a big part of the reason for the Bucks coming back so strong after their horrible start to the season is their easy schedule. If you look at the games that they've played recently, these are just Giannis's performances. Amazing stat lines, but aside from the Houston Rockets, there's not really been much competition that they've been able to pick up a win against other than teams that are, not the best teams in the NBA, respectfully to them. All right, now this is the part that I clickbaited you with, and I'm going to break it down. When we're talking about mid-range jump shots, the lost art of the mid-range, no one wants to take mid-range jump shots anymore, but in the playoffs, these are the most important shot because this is the only area the great players can truly excel. So don't take that out of context because obviously we're not talking about Steph Curry, but I'm talking about when the game grinds down in the playoffs, you've got to be able to get a bucket in the mid-range, and we all know that's not really been Giannis's bag. So let's look at mid-range shot attempts. This data is from shotcreator.com, cool new website, and I pulled up a list of the 10 best mid-range shooters in the NBA right now. At number 1, with the most mid-range attempts per game is DeMar DeRozan, and he's hitting them at almost 50%. He's shooting 9 of them a game, followed by Brandon Ingram, who's taking almost 6 of them a game, and he's knocking them down at 47%. But then there's Joel Embiid, who when he does play, on the rare occasion that he does play, the very special occasion he treats us to a performance, even though he's on a max contract, but that's a whole nother conversation. He's taking 4.5 of them a game, but he's only shooting 22% on them. Giannis Antetokounmpo is also taking 4.5 of them a game, but he's shooting double in terms of percentage. His percentage is doubled Embiid's. He's shooting 45% from the mid-range, which is crazy because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are only they're taking less than 4 of them a game. They're shooting, KD's shooting the same as Giannis, and Devin Booker's shooting slightly better. And then you've got Paul George, Jamal Murray, Bobby Portis, and Donovan Mitchell, who are taking less. But when you look at this graphic of the best mid-range scorers in the NBA right now, nobody before the season would have put Giannis's name on this list. I saw a cool tweet from my friend Alex Hoops, who's got a great YouTube channel. He said, Giannis Antetokounmpo is 33 from 69 on long mid-range shots so far this season, clocking at 48% from the long mid-range. Now, not only is this the best efficiency of his career in that area, but he's on pace for the most long mid-range field goals in a season by far. Now, when you look at Giannis's shot chart from last year and compare it to this year, tell me what stands out to you. Because the biggest thing for me is, first of all, the above the free throw line mid-range shots have gone from red to green, but there's also been a decrease in the mid-range shots that are coming from kind of the side, the post-up ones. He does still shoot them, but the distribution of his shots, he's taking way less threes. He's shooting more from that above the free throw line area. That finishing at the hoop is still amazing. Teams are getting better at guarding him because he keeps getting better and better at guarding him in the paint. But you can see that area above the free throw line is all green. He has been knocking him down from the free throw line, from the elbow. He's doing his thing. We're going to break down some film and look at how exactly he did this. But I've got to say this. I saw another tweet from Dan Schaefer. It said, Giannis is averaging more assists per game than Shea, more rebounds per game than Anthony Davis, and more points per game than anyone in the NBA. This is ridiculous. That Jokic is so good, everyone still says Jokic is the MVP, because what Giannis is doing right now is absolutely historical. So we're going to look at one of Giannis's performances, one of his best performances of the season. It was against the Detroit Pistons. That's okay. But look at his shot chart right now. If you look at the shot chart, anywhere green means he's shooting 10% better than the league average. Anywhere red means it's 10% worse, and so on and so forth. But just look at how much green there is. Usually we see green inside the paint and whatnot, but look at the mid-range. So let's dive into the film and break down this mid-range scoring from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, a big part of this is taking what the defense gives you. If you look at the first action here for the Bucks, what Giannis is doing is he's setting a screen to get AJ Green open on a curl maybe. If he doesn't get it, he could curl to the hoop. But that's the action that they're running. The Pistons decide to send both defenders at AJ Green, who, as we discussed earlier, 7th best three-point shooter in the NBA. I can barely speak today. But they leave Giannis wide open on a three-point line because they don't care if he gets the ball on the three-point line. So he gets the ball on the three-point line and he puts it on the floor. One dribble, he knows what he's doing because he can see from when he catches the ball, he can see that Jalen Duren is attached to AJ Green. There's all of this space in between them. So Giannis knows, maybe I can't shoot the three, but what I can do is take a dribble, get my rhythm, and shoot this shot. And that's exactly what he does. He takes the dribble, 1-2 steps into the shot, rises up, and knocks it down. And a big part of basketball is just taking what the defense gives you. Here, you've got a pick and roll. Giannis is setting a screen on Cade. You're expecting the ball handler to come off of this screen, and you're expecting Giannis to then dive to the hoop, for probably up here for an alley-oop. But that's what they're expecting. Instead, Giannis pops the screen. See, both defenders are looking at the ball handler, and they're giving all of this space up to Giannis because they don't mind him taking a three. And such a big part of basketball is taking what the defense gives you. And straight away, upon the catch, look, he's caught the ball. He's not waiting for a sec. He's already deciding that he's going to step into his shot. And this is how he gets his rhythm. If you notice, he takes the left, the right, and then he rises up. And he's so tall, you can't really contest that. If you're giving him that much space, right? First of all, his eyes are on the bucket. You can't contest that. There's all of this space. And it doesn't matter how high he jumps because Giannis will simply jump higher and shoot over him, as you can see. Now, because he got the first two to drop, he's now got a post-up, which, as we talked about earlier, isn't the strongest area of his game, shooting fadeaways from the post-up. But he's just seen 2 jump shots drop early in the game, so he's doing a great job backing down a defender, and then a wide step. Look at the width of this step that he takes. If he takes, a smaller step and puts his right foot down here, then he might not be able to get this shot off. Defender does really well, keeping their hands up and contesting, but he's got the confidence now. And you can see he's just rising up in a smooth shooting form. Here, you're taking what the defense gives you again. Defender's sitting back in the paint, giving up this space to him because what he doesn't want is Giannis to drive around him to the hoop, or in fact just drive through him to the hoop because he's ridiculously strong. Giannis sees that and he's going straight back to that mid-range jump shot. It's really easy. It's really simple. If they leave you open, shoot. Ben Simmons, if you're watching, please take notes and learn how to shoot in the mid-range, at least if you're not going to do it from 3. But here you go. Once again, the defender is at the free throw line. He's giving Giannis enough space to get his rhythm and go into his shot. And that's exactly what Giannis does. Because as he starts to go forwards, the defender is going to start to drop back because he can't afford to give up the drive to the hoop. So he's going to take a step back, and as soon as he does that, Giannis knows, like if you actually look at Giannis, if you zoom in here, he's looking at the defender's feet to see what direction they're going in. And as soon as he sees those foot go back, he's rising up, getting into his shot, and knocking it down. Once again, this time, they've even come and set a pick and roll. Usually, we see pick and rolls being set out here for guys like Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry. Doc Rivers and the Bucks have decided to set a pick here for Giannis because they're going to have to either commit to either stepping up and guarding Giannis to get around the screen, or they're going to just drop back and let Giannis shoot the mid-range. And that's exactly what happens. Here you go. He's taking his time. He's being patient. He's reading the defense. Here he's checking the time on the clock and to see if he can make a pass over. That's a risk. But he sees the shot clock winding down, 4 seconds. He takes that one dribble with his left hand, left, right, and then he rises up to shoot. There's nothing Kate Cunningham can do about that. Giannis is 7 foot tall. And then, he's got the confidence now. He's got the confidence, so he's not even hesitating. Here, there's 17 seconds on the shot clock where he decides that he sees Jalen Duren's attention being distracted by this screen because they think that Giannis just wants to get the straight line drive to the hoop. Instead, he's just going to walk up to the three-point line. He's been hitting mid-range shots all night, and he's just going to knock it down. Giannis is absolutely hyped. You can see the energy that he's bringing. And this is what happens now. They're not worried about him. They're not guarding him. He's taking his time. He's walking him down. Defender tries to reach. That's cool. Defender's reached. But look how far the actual defender who's supposed to be guarding Giannis is. Giannis sees that and he knows, hey, look, I'm going to shoot this. So teams are now going to have to start picking up Giannis higher up the court. But the problem with that is, if you were to move Jalen Duren further out of the paint, this man is going to shift to the corner. So either Cade is going to stay right here and Giannis can make the pass out to the corner, or Cade is going to shift out to the three-point line to go with this shooter. This shooter can't help because Taurean Prince right now is cashing in at an elite rate. And then Giannis will simply be able to drive to the hoop. So it's a catch-22 now. If he continues to shoot the mid-range like this, teams are going to be in trouble. And if he continues to shoot the mid-range like this, it won't be long before he extends that to the three-point line, because shooting is all about confidence. We discussed Ben Simmons earlier. Once you lose your confidence, you ain't going to get it back. But Giannis, on the other hand, his confidence seems to be growing with every game that he plays. I can't wait to see the Bucks take on some better teams to see what happens when they go up against real competition. But appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you like the video. Let me know if you want more, what else you want to see. Appreciate the love on the previous video about Wembanyama and Chris Paul and the Spurs. And yeah, subscribe, leave a comment if you liked it, like the video, whatever, because I'm pretty inconsistent about YouTube, because sometimes I spend time working on a video going through film and it flops. So let me know if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more. And if you do want to see more, I'll keep making them. But if no one's really messing with it, then do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But appreciate you guys who watched. I'll see you guys in the next video. Get buckets. Oh, and the clip I talked about at the start of the video is from the Hoop Genius podcast. We do 5 episodes a week. Myself and 3-time NBA champion PJ Armstrong. We also have Scott Perry, former general manager of the Knicks, and a whole bunch of other teams. He comes on the show once a week. It's pretty dope. If you're not already tuning into that, I don't know what you're doing, because all the other podcasts and all the other TV shows there are a bit, leave it. But our one, 10 out of 10, if I do say so myself. I'll see you next time. Get buckets.